Welcome to the Spirit of Autism web TV show, offering practical tools, tips, and support for you and your loved ones with autism. I'm your host, Debbie Taylor, and I'm so excited to have my good friend Sandy here with me today. This is Sandy Bruce, founder of Shenanigans. Welcome.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Listen, before we get things rolling, I do want to take a brief moment of silence to honor both Robin Williams and Lauren Bacall, who two beautifully gifted souls that we lost this week. So would you just take a couple of quick seconds with me?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to start crying again, especially because one of our themes today is improv. So I'm going to jump right into it. Tell me, what is Shenanigans and how did it get started?
Well, Shenanigans is a program that approaches the challenges of autism, the social challenges and social communication challenges, and the rigid thinking and a lot of the other challenges of autism through the techniques of improvisational theater. And we do it in a very, very fun environment, a very safe environment, and we just have a lot of fun. I guess in any week, probably we touch about 60 people around the city. So,
Wow.
and it's a lot of fun, and our parents and families tell us that they are seeing results, and that's the important thing.
What kind of results?
More confidence, self-confidence mainly, because when you gain self-confidence, you gain the ability to understand that you can hold your own in any social situation, no matter what comes up.
That's huge.
I remember we had one, this kind of sticks with me and, touched my heart, but after one of our young adults had performed one time when we did a family and friends show, and this one young adult who came to us, and I would say he's minimally verbal, but he was very verbal when he wanted to be. He just was kind of, constrained. After performing in the show where he just jumped right in there and did it with gusto, his dad came up to me and was so happy because he said his son had not participated in social gatherings and family gatherings. He'd always kind of sit off on the side. And now he's in the middle of the room putting people through improv games.
Wow.
So that just really touched me. So it's that kind of effect. Like I said, the self-confidence is a big thing because when you have self-confidence, everything else kind of falls in place.
It sure does. So how did it get started?
Well, I am a grandmother to a young man with autism. And
Grandmother? I know you're not.
Yes,
Look at you.
Yes, I am. And not only that, but he's a young adult now. So
Wow.
I feel fortunate that he is in my life because I, like probably most people, didn't have a clue about autism. It wasn't on my radar screen when he was born. I just didn't give it a thought. Now it's my life. It's given me purpose and direction in my life, and I love being able to work with the autistic community and the autism community as a whole. And when James was in middle school, he was in a youth theater, and it didn't really work out real well for him. So I was trying to find something that would nurture his want to be on stage and perform, and because he was a very, very outgoing young man, and I wanted to create something for him that would address his social skills in an environment that would not be threatening to him, that would be very supportive of him.
Right.
And I tried to find something that in the Atlanta area that would do that, and I couldn't really see anything that exactly what I had in mind. I did my research. I'm not a theater person. I did my research, and I found improvisational theater, and by golly, it just addressed every single challenge that James had. So I thought, well, I'm going to start an improvisational theater program for people with autism, because I figured if it worked for James, it's going to work for a heck of a lot more people.
Wow.
So I found a very very willing improv teacher here in Atlanta who came on board to help me get our first summer camps going in 2009, and it resonated within the autism community. So we tried after school classes in September, and it kept growing. So in March of 2010, I decided to give us a home through, I incorporated a Spectrum Arts. And Shenanigans is a program under Spectrum Arts now. And as I see the need and the opportunities arise, then I'm creating new programs to address those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shenanigans is one of 3 programs now. We have Shenanigans, which is our fun, creative improv program, very spontaneous. It works invisibly to our participants because we have a lot of fun. In having fun, we're also addressing, thinking flexibly, just being able to listen to what's going on around you, being able to participate.
And go with the flow, right? That's very challenging because that scheduling is and the routine is so important because of other things that feel out of control in their world. So teaching their minds to open.
Right, and improv, the motto of improv is yes and so that means a lot to me because a lot of our participants, they don't have the ability to perceive, they don't have the perception to kind of learn context and be able to respond in context. And very often they have very focused ideas. And it's difficult for them to accept other people's ideas as being valid. So what we work on in Shenanigans is to teach them the validity of others' ideas and how to take those ideas, accept them, move them forward. And of course they realize in turn when they have an idea, they are going to be accepted. And if they have
some neurotypical adults that could use that,
and that's a whole other arm of it's called applied improvisational theater that works with all kinds of corporate people and everything like that. But our approach is a little bit different because we work with the specific challenges of autism.
Mm-hmm. And so you said you touch these people around the city. Is it in one location or do you have multiple locations?
Well, our business model is to take our classes where they're wanted. And so as long as I have an instructor, I have a growing roster of instructors who are all very, very passionate about what we're doing. And as long as I can stretch them or bring somebody new on board and train them, and then we have a space to meet and enough families to support the program, we'll go there. So right now we have classes in Woodstock, in Smyrna, in Northeast Cobb and Marietta, Roswell. We do classes, we embed in other organizations and schools too, so we've done classes in DeKalb and Decatur and
that's great.
And several other, Fulton County. So we kind of go all around, and we are planning to expand into the more outlying areas, and so I'll have some announcements on that very shortly because I'm just crossing the T's and dotting the I's on a couple new things right now. So, but we take the program where we're needed. So I guess you could say we're community based. We don't have one specific central location that is ours.
Right.
We depend on the generosity of people to come forward with space that we can use, and then we get things going.
That's great. So you respond to the needs of the community, basically.
Right.
So you said you had 3 programs. Besides Shenanigans, what else?
We started Code Breakers in 2011, and Code Breakers is, I guess you can say Shenanigans on steroids, maybe. It's kind of up in the ante a little bit to work in a real life scenarios and work on the social communication challenges that young adults in transition from school into the adult world are going to need in order to succeed in life. So through our signature improvisational theater approach and role play and then debriefing and facilitated conversation, we work toward their success in the workplace, in the neighborhood, in relationships, everything they're going to need to help them succeed throughout life. And we target predominantly the college-bound and the those who are bound for competitive employment. And so they have to, our participants have a level of commitment to the program because we demand more out of them. We'll give them homework to do in between classes to kind of reinforce what we've done in classes, and it's more of a curriculum-based program, and we're also working through school systems to bring this into a lot of their transition programs.
That's great. That is so needed.
And working with employers through the school systems also who are working with the people who are transitioning. And, of course, our ideal goal, just to kind of spill the beans on future anticipated paths, is that we want to work with the employers, too, to be able to work with them on working with a person with autism.
Right.
So there's so many things to teach these people, our participants, when they go to work. First of all, how to do the interview. And I know a lot of vocational training programs address the interview process. We come in at 360 degrees. We want to teach them, we call it code breakers, because our interpersonal relationships, the conversations and everything, there's a hidden code there that it's very, very difficult for people with autism to pick up on. We as neurotypicals, 87 out of 88 people who are neurotypicals, because 1 in 88 is diagnosed with autism now. We can kind of instinctively pick up on social cues and all the different
facial expressions, body language, yes,
and all of the other environmental cues, the sound of the air conditioning and all this stuff. We get all of those sensory bombardments, and we can kind of prioritize them. What is important? What do I need to focus on? And this is all done simultaneously, and so we can immediately develop context and a response. Our participants with autism, that is a challenge for them, because they tend to get the sensory bombardment the same as we do, but it's hard to prioritize them. They may focus, or they may hear the air conditioning that may be so distracting that they can't hear what you're saying.
Right. It's my understanding that they hear everything in the environment times 10, all at the same volume.
Right.
And it's difficult for the brain to filter out, hey, that should be background noise. This is what I should focus on. And it's kind of like when you walk into a restaurant, at first you're bombarded with all the voices, and then your brain eventually goes, oh, okay, well, I just need to listen to the person in front of me. But that sensory adaptation doesn't really happen.
No.
So it's constantly in their face at all times, and it's very challenging.
And that's why we work on understanding, hopefully giving them some tips on how to develop context through kind of I guess you might say, a logical approach, and because it's a lot of our participants have a processing delay, and you can kind of understand it when you're thinking about they're looking at all of these individual sensory things coming at them, and they have to examine each one and prioritize it.
Right.
And that's very, very difficult. So it takes them a while to be able to kind of assimilate all that and develop the response. So we're trying to teach them how to read between the lines and kind of give them some cues on how to decode this hidden agenda. And it's and we still have fun. The class is still fun. Code Breakers, like I said, is more a more rigorous program. It's a more advanced program than Shenanigans, only because we require that degree of motivation, and we require them to work a little harder. We also have another program called Say Yes, and that name just kind of came at me because that's, like I said, the primary motto of just improv in general is take an idea and move it forward. And so we have our theater camp in the summer. We call it our Say Yes camp. And that's where we have, we're targeting teens and adults, young adults for that program, not so young adults. But we target them to come in, and we facilitate and guide them through the production process, from developing the story they want to tell and how they want to tell it, all the way through developing the whole show. Then we put on a show at the end of the 2 weeks for family and friends. And once we get it all finished, it goes on YouTube. So
everything goes on YouTube.
Right.
So is it all ages for Shenanigans, the first program we talked about?
Shenanigans, we have classes. We're moving down as we gain in capacity. We're moving down to the younger ages now. So now we have from age 7 all the way through adults. So let's say 7 to 102. I want it to be a lifespan program because I started out doing it specifically for teens, and because I know that once they leave the protective environment, the supportive environment of K-12 12.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of a void, of kind of a black hole, and too many of our kids fall into that black hole and can't seem to find their way out of it.
Right.
I think it's so important to have something out there that they can become a part of. It's kind of cool to say you're learning improv, and so it's a fun environment. We have a lot of friendships that are formed in the program that are really deep friendships. They've been sustained for quite a long time. We have a lot of people who've been in our program almost since we started.
Wow.
So it becomes a way of life for them, and we love that. And we get to know them real well, our participants real well. We get to know their families. The families get to know other families. So there's a very much of
that connection. Boy, it's
very,
so
very much
easy to
of a
get isolated
connection.
as a parent of somebody with autism or a caregiver.
Yes.
And I can't believe we've known each other this long, and I haven't, explored this with my own son. But I think this might be the right time for him because he actually is very social as far as being friendly toward people. But his only true friendships right now are on Skype. He does Skype with people all over the world when he plays Minecraft with them. And I'm there. I see their video. I know they're actually other kids his age and not somebody creepy pretending to be a kid. But if we're out in public and all the sensory things are lined up and everything's fine, he will approach people and smile. But the second the conversation turns to anything other than his specific obsessions or interests, like Minecraft or Super Mario, or, he does speak in a code.
Right.
and I happen to know that code just because I make it, I live with him and I want to be able to reach out to him. But as far as making friends, once it gets to that point, it's very difficult. He ends up just playing alongside others.
Right, parallel play. And that is, obviously, that's a trait of autism. That's so common, and I would say virtually everybody that comes in our program is like that, too. So it really is, it takes a lot of effort on our part to be able to find the games and the activities that will force them to kind of interact with each other and learn to accept another person's, what they're doing and add to it and become part of a team.
Right.
We offer them leadership opportunities within the team. We offer them, we offer to help them learn to be good followers. So, when you're learning leadership and following, the end result is you have a good team.
Yeah.
So a lot of our kids have grown up together over the years. We started in 2009, so they've grown up in a group, and I'm just kind of progressing the group along as they grow because I don't want to separate them.
Right.
So we just bring in another group for the younger ones, and it's so much fun to see them grow and develop in the program. And they form friendships. Like I said, the families have formed friendships. So it has the fallout from what we're doing seems to be very beneficial.
It's so unique too. There's nothing like it.
It is. When I first started this in 2009, I was researching online. I wanted to try to find something in the Atlanta area that was doing this and using improv to address specifically the social challenges and provide a safe environment and a soft place to land when they fell down and they had to recover and then develop those skills until they could do it and take it out into the world. So it's well, I lost my train of thought. It's very exciting that they're able to just take what we're doing with them and take it out into the world and generalize it in their own life.
Right. So you don't just see the effects there as their confidence grows, but you see the real world results and practical application to what they're doing. Do you have anything specific for homeschoolers?
We have a lot of homeschoolers in our program, and I think we're seeing more and more homeschoolers. I would love to get a class going in the daytime for the homeschoolers, and so I've been talking to people occasionally about doing that. Again, it's just finding logistically being able to get it all planned out.
Right. Yeah,
and so
homeschool community is very spread out, but it's growing in numbers.
But I would say individually we have a lot of participants coming in the program who are homeschooled, and I think that the homeschoolers, they need this outlet probably at least as much as any of the other kids who are in the public school and private school systems. They're they're homeschooled for a reason, obviously, because they're not succeeding in the other school environment. And so we want to provide that little bit of opportunity for them to develop the skills that they would need to develop within a group setting.
Right.
And so we invite homeschoolers to come in and be very willing to talk to anybody about forming a homeschool group too.
All right. So what's coming up for the fall?
Well, we are now registering for our first fall session. We'll have 2 fall sessions. Our classes go on throughout the year for the most part, take a week off here and there. And we're now registering for the fall, and we're starting a couple new classes for the younger groups. And you can go to our website and check our schedule and see what's on. And
what's your website?
It's www.shenanigansimprov.com.
Okay.
And you can pull down all kinds of information from the website there. So we're going to be starting our classes. We're getting rolling fully into our fall session right after Labor Day. And
that's when school should start, in my opinion.
I know. It's
still
really,
can't get over that. I've been here almost 20 years, and I'm like, school starts in September, it ends in June. But
it's really kind of funny because when we first started, the school was starting, I'd say, close to the second week of August. And so we would start right after Labor Day, give the kids a few weeks to kind of get over that transition. And now with school starting right at the 1st of August, it's kind of moved up our time schedule a little bit too, so we've got to be ready to kind of jump in there mid-August. So that's why we're starting some of our classes in the middle of August, and other of our classes we're starting right after Labor Day. And then we'll go on, through the year. We roll over from one session into the other, and just keep going. And the good thing about what we're doing is you can jump in any time, because with the Shenanigans Improv program, each week doesn't build on the previous week. We don't assign roles, or we don't cast parts. We don't have memorization. This is all creative and spontaneous and off the top of your head.
That's great.
And so we don't because of that, you can kind of jump in any time and just be a part of the group and learn and have fun. And I will say too that our Shenanigans classes, each class kind of focuses on a different characteristic or trait that we want to address, like trusting another person. I know a lot of our kids and teens have a lot of problems just trusting another person and letting them. I'll give you an example. My grandson will bring a remote control toy. His thing is remote controls. And he'll bring it to class, and all the kids will gather around and want to see it and want to try it. And he just doesn't really feel, he just says, I just don't trust anybody else to handle the remote control. So, we're trying to let them know that sometimes it's okay to trust people a little bit.
Yeah, that's challenging.
Yeah, and also to trust them when they're doing the improv, to trust that when you kind of fall down, somebody else will help pick you up and allow them to do it, accept that they're helping you.
Right. Now, you mentioned you don't cast roles, but you do have an exciting announcement about a casting session that's coming up, right?
I do. We are very excited to be a production partner in a short film that's going to be filmed here in Atlanta in January. It is written by Jesse Kramer. Jesse was our teens instructor who moved out to Los Angeles to be a part of the Los Angeles scene out there as a writer. And he is a very talented fellow, and he this has been a dream of his for a long time, to write something that will portray autism in a realistic, natural way without a lot of the melodrama and sensationalism that you see on stage and on screen and everything about autism. So we want this to just be life in the day of a person with autism kind of approach, and all the little challenges that come along. And basically the whole thing is going to be about how we all communicate, because everybody communicates. I don't care how severe you are affected, if you're on the spectrum, or how typical you are. We all can communicate. So it's trying to find the way how we can communicate where we all understand each other. And that's kind of where this film is going. And I'm excited about it. This is going to be a short, and then we're in the process of auditioning right now. There's still a few slots left open for a couple of people, although I was really surprised all the auditioning slots filled up pretty darn quickly. And we're opening up to, we do need some neurotypical people to come in. We have a couple parts to cast for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be filming in January, over a long weekend in January.
In Atlanta, right?
In Atlanta. The
That's
whole thing is
great.
in Atlanta. And the idea is this will be submitted to film festivals around the world,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully to get a few little awards here and there, and
That's
hopefully to
great.
get funding to do a feature film.
And I know I did a little write-up on that,
Mhm.
so people can find more information on spiritofautism.org. You go to my blog section, you'll see the official press release on that.
Right. Mhm.
And
Thank
boy,
you for that.
you're quite welcome. And I had all these notes about back to school stuff, but I've just enjoyed the conversation so much, and it's about time to wrap it up. So thank you, Sandy, for being
well,
here.
I really enjoyed
And
it.
tell everybody again where they can find more information about Shenanigans.
Well, two places. We have our website at www.shenanigansimprov.com, and we also have a Facebook page. So it's Facebook/Shenanigansimprov.
No dashes or anything, right? It's
No, just
okay.
Shenanigans Improv.
Well, great.
And so go on our Facebook page and like us.
Yes, need a lot of likes.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. This has
Thank
been
you.
so much fun, and I will see everybody next month.
Are you looking for a great night out? Are you in the Atlanta, Georgia area? Are you looking to check out some live, awesome music during the week? They have keynote, poker tournaments, horseshoes, and special events. It's all at the Moon Shadow Tavern. That's at 3976 Lawrenceville Highway in Tucker, Georgia. That's the Moon Shadow Tavern. Give them a call, 770-674-2133. Check out their selection of great food, friendly service. Visit their website at msttucker.com. That's www.msttucker.com. Moon Shadow Tavern is a proud sponsor of the Chris Massey Web TV music show on www.americanheartsradio.com. Make sure you told them that American Hearts Radio sent you. Visit their website, check out their great selection of food, appetizers, wings, burgers, sandwiches and wraps, steaks and chicken, salads and sides. Also their drink specials. Live music during the week. Check them out. Give them a call, 770-674-2133.